I'm Donna Demrose from the Pontiac Regional Chamber, and today I am with Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard. The Pontiac Regional Chamber wanted to acknowledge Oakland County Sheriff Department for all the greatness that you are doing in the city of Pontiac. And I'd like to say hello, Sheriff Bouchard. Thank you for being with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for all of you watching at home.
Thanks. And congratulations on your reelection.
Thank
Very
you.
excited about that great success. And the leadership that you really bring to the city of Pontiac and also all the communities. We are really appreciate your leadership.
Oh, I appreciate the opportunity to work with you. I love working with all the communities, but it's been especially fun in Pontiac to see all the excitement and the new activity and the thoughts of how we can grow the downtown and the neighborhoods and make it more vibrant. I think Pontiac has so many great opportunities in the years ahead. I really do.
It does. And since you've been there, it's been a little bit over a year. I'd just like to share, what's your biggest challenge? And there's so many great successes. I want to hear those in a second. But tell me what the biggest challenge you think was when you first came into town.
Well, the biggest challenge was obviously to, kind of bring a new process. We absorbed a lot of the great men and women that were with Pontiac Police Department, and they were struggling. And it wasn't because they weren't great people or weren't trying hard. It was a process and a system and a resource issue. So they were down to 50 officers. They had been 180, almost 200, just not too long ago in the future, and they were running with a whole lot less, and they were running call to call, and their process and their systems really kind of set them up for failure. They took so long to make an arrest, and they weren't given a lot of support training-wise and some of the things because of how under-resourced they were in the system and the processes they were in. So that was the biggest challenge, to kind of bring in our process and system and kind of meld it together. It kind of reminds me of the Brady Bunch TV show from years ago, where you've got, and then there was a family, and they come together, and so we really, but we blended well as a family now, and the officers that came from Pontiac mixed in with the sheriff's office members. We actually, when we began primary enforcement in Pontiac, they were down to 50, and so we actually absorbed 63. We were called 13 from layoff. And then we added another 11, so we gave Pontiac 74 and saved them $2.1 million every year. So we put a lot more boots on the ground and on the streets, most importantly, and we saved the city a lot of money because of our process and our systems. And it also allows the men and women to get the training and the support they need, and it gets them back out on the road quicker after an arrest and things like that. So their individual productivity is practically doubled. And our system process works, so arrests went up 400% in the first few months after we got there. And again, a lot of it was the same people. They just now were free to run and go do the work that they love.
Well, we've been hearing a lot of good, because of the processes that you have in place, the response time has significantly decreased, and also the crime is increased. Can you tell us a little bit more, maybe some specific stats?
When we got there, the average response time to a 911 call was about 70 minutes. Excuse me. And again, a lot of that system and process. So now for priority 1 calls, we're about 6 thereabouts, and we're keep pushing it down. In terms of crime, we really have been able to compress it quite a bit, especially in targeted areas. We have created a special unit, a DPU, Directed Patrol Unit, so that as we see statistics developing real time where there's issues, if it's downtown or wherever, we throw resources at it real quickly. It can be undercover operations, it can be uniform, high visibility, whatever the situation calls for, and as a result, they're solving a lot of crimes very quickly. We hate to see any armed robberies or homicides obviously being the worst, but if you look at the homicides that have occurred, a lot of them, we have people in custody within 48 hours. That sends a pretty strong message to anyone that looks to come to violate Pontiac residents or businesses, or people that maybe historically thought I might get away with it. I think they're getting caught, and that's the message we want to send. This is not the place to ply your trade if you're a criminal.
And it's great for economic development, because we're trying to do a lot there in Pontiac, and thank you for the decreased crime. It's excellent. Being a great leader that you are, the inspiration that you give to your teams, I'd just like to hear, how do you rally them and stay inspired in what they're doing?
Well, the biggest part, I think, is to make sure that they understand that you're there to support them with the training and the equipment, whatever they need to do a tough job. And so we've really upgraded our training, our facilities, and our process to make sure that If the law changes, they get legal updates. If there's new physical tools, different kinds of weapons or different kinds of ballistic armor to protect their lives, we want to try to make sure we get that going fairly quickly, because if we help protect them and train them to keep them safe, it makes them feel more appreciated, which they're very appreciated, and it makes them quicker to jump into situations that, as a confident person, because they know that training is going to stand up for them and they know that they've got the support of the agency. So that's a real important part, to make sure that they get what they need to do at Tough Top. And then the other thing is to kind of spread the message in the community, like in the downtown area, the chamber activities. One of the most important things for anybody in the neighborhood or in a business area is safety. If you're not safe, you don't want to go there. And for a business, that's a death blow. And so we're real cognizant of that. We want to make sure that your customers for your businesses feel safe. They know we're going to respond. They know we're going to respond with force, and they know we're going to take care of any issue. And they also know that we're very pro-business. If they don't know, you should know, because we are. A community really grows and thrives based on its economic development. And so a big chunk of time I spend speaking to entrepreneurs and companies and say, hey, take a look at Pontiac. Think about locating there. I would love to get like a world headquarters, like maybe 1,000 jobs right downtown.
Yeah.
Have them build there. Instantly, that would help to transform the downtown. You get 1,000 people going out for lunch. Think how many businesses would spring up to be the place to go eat, or maybe do a little shopping while you're out to lunch to buy gift for the holidays or whatever. There's so many things that can come. So I always speak to every entrepreneur, whether it's Pete Carmanos or Dan Gilbert, or any of the folks that are investing heavily in Detroit, saying, hey, look at Pontiac. Pontiac's a microcosm of a great little urban area, tremendous potential. Look at us, consider us, and we've got some great things going, the loft and the health food store and the 24-hour fitness and all that kind of activity. I'd love to see more of that. And downtown residential living, I think, is a big part of it, but also a huge commercial headquarters there would be transformational.
It would be very transformational, and thanks for being an ambassador for that initiative, because we're definitely working together to, even with the county, to help with economic development. Now, with your leadership as well, community outreach has been huge, and I've experienced it personally with your, the Sheriff's Department with National Night Out in the summertime, and then just this week, you hosted Angels Night Fun Fest. And why is it so important for the Sheriff's Department to reach out to the community?
There's so many programs that we do, that I've done for many years, and people are seeing now more in Pontiac because now we're the primary agency. We never like to step on toes if they have their own police department, but a lot of these programs I develop with our great team to try to connect better with the community, so that we're not just seen as a police agency. We come in and we're reactive and arrest people. If there's an issue or a problem, we want to help solve it before it becomes worse. And if there's a need, we want to help meet it so it doesn't fester. So, our programs like, the Angel Night Fest that we started to bring kids together and to do the trick-or-treating and fun things. We've had a Sheriff's Recycle program, which is now more involved in Pontiac, where we give bikes to families or kids that for other reasons can't afford to have one. Coats for the Cold's running right now. We collect about 3,000 coats from people, their generous donations, and then we give it to people, the majority in the Pontiac area that may not be able to afford a coat, and we're going into a cold winter. We have the pharmaceutical program, where we take old medicines back, get it out of the house, get it out of the waterway. So a lot of the programs we see in need, and we try to partner with the community because it builds relationships. And if you know us from these programs and we can help solve a problem, then you call us, which solves that problem, but also it builds that relationship. So if there's a police issue, people feel much more comfortable. It's kind of community policing at the extreme, because they feel like we're all partners, and we are, and we should be.
It's fantastic, and hundreds of people showed up in Pontiac for Fun Fest, so thank you for doing that as well.
Yeah, no, it's great.
So just to wrap up, what would be some good business tips that you could give business owners anytime to keep their business safe and dealing with customers and things? Well,
situational awareness is always important. Not just at your business, at home, or wherever you travel. Bad things can happen anywhere, in good towns and towns that have more challenges. So, first thing I would say is don't assume that crime can't happen to you anywhere. You know, a woman was kidnapped and ultimately murdered. She was kitty corner from the Birmingham Police Department. So, you know, in towns that people don't associate with crime, bad things can happen anywhere. So situational awareness, be aware of what's around, notice your surroundings, notice what people are doing, and if you feel odd about something, if that hair on your neck stands up, react to it. Go the other direction, call us, suspicious person. We'd rather check out 10 nothings than miss one real thing. So first, be aware. Then secondly, look at your physical operation. If you have a store or whatever, check your visibility, check your windows, your door locks, your lighting, alarm systems, all those kinds of things. Make sure those are all up to date. Your back doors have lights, proper deadbolts, proper ability to secure. Where's your car? Are you going out at night? Is it lit? All of those things, it's always best to go in pairs or multiple people rather than alone. And the buddy system that you use when you're growing up swimming works for safety. If you can, put in some audio and video, especially video recorders, cameras. You can get some pretty high quality video cameras these days for, you know, $400 or $500 for a whole system of like 8 cameras that will record and transmit it over the internet to your smartphone. So you can monitor your business from literally anywhere in the world, and it records what goes on. If there is an issue, it helps us solve it. If you're going to get a video system, try to get one that has enough resolution that it's helpful, because some of them are so grainy that, yeah, there's a person there, but I can't really see who it is or what they're doing. If it's a good quality, you know, that's a great lead for us. We can get that picture out and solve a problem, and people see that happens. Well, I'm not going there. They're pretty quick on catching people there. So, you know, those are a couple of tips, and don't be afraid to call us and ask us to, you know, for advice if you've got a particular question. You know, the deputies will come to your store or business and help you out. We do, you know, a survey. Make sure you've had your business surveyed, so it's got all your contact points after hours if something happens, if a window gets broken or if there's a fire or whatever. So we know how to get a hold of you. You know, go through that process. Stop by the substation, build a relationship. Captain Atkins is the commander. You know, get to know him and the resources. That's what we're there for.
Well, thank you, Sheriff Bouchard.
Sure.
Really appreciate you being a part of this interview. And for those of you that are watching, this is the Pontiac Regional Chamber meeting with Sheriff Bouchard, and this will be the cover story for our November edition. Please visit and see the article on www.pontiacchamber.com. Thank you.
Sure.